Today, I'd like to talk about draw elbow height because I've had a couple of questions about this recently. And I know Mike, we're joined by Mike Peart again here, but I know you've actually had a couple of questions from archers that you coach about if their
Yep.
elbow is too high or stuff like that as well.
Just
So
yesterday, we
yeah,
were looking through it on the video analysis. It's something that often comes up.
and a lot of archers get kind of concerned about it, don't they? They're kind of worried like, oh, is it too high when I come into anchor? Is my elbow too high? What range is kind of acceptable that it needs to be within? So that's what I wanted to kind of talk through today. So I think it'll be
Good
really
idea.
good. I'll share a video to start with, and we can kind of go from there because this is what I wanted to kind of highlight. So first of all, this is Park Sung Hyun. If anyone doesn't realize, you need to watch a video of her shooting on YouTube just for the general technique. But what I wanted to highlight here is a lot of people would maybe get a little bit worried about this draw elbow height. If it was them, they'd be like, "Oh, is my draw elbow too high? Maybe it's a little bit more than normal," that sort of thing. And I wanted to highlight that even amongst top archers, there's a range, and even some people would consider this a high elbow. And I'm not worried about this at all, obviously. Whether it's Park Sung Hyun or whether this was another archer coming to me who's not shooting 1400 on a feeder, but if they come to me with this draw elbow height, I'm not too concerned, and we'll get into why that is in a little bit. But what's your thoughts on this as a kind of draw elbow height if an archer came to you with something similar to this?
This is clear. This is definitely on the higher end of it, higher end of an acceptable range, I guess
Yeah.
is what I would say. The key thing is what some people say, and what I hate is when they say to me, "Do you want me to force it lower? Do you want me to force it?" And any time they're saying the word "force it," my heckles go up on my neck, and I'm thinking you're going to end up hurting something,
Yeah.
because I don't want you to be forcing it to do anything. Because I think if we find the right position, forcing it will be the last thing on your mind. That's what I'm
Yeah.
hoping for, anyway. But yeah, she's definitely on the higher end. You're right. I don't know if I can think of another champion with a higher elbow.
Yeah. Maybe you'd have to kind of go a bit further back, wouldn't you? Maybe Valeva had quite a high draw elbow as well. But yeah, definitely on the higher end. But I think what you
I'd
said
like
is
to look
what
at
I'd
her
like
over the
to.
years as well. I wonder if for a whole 15-year career, because I do remember she had a high elbow when she was winning the World Championship when she was shooting for Moldova. I don't know. I can't remember if that ever changed with the next sort of 10, 15 years in Italy, or whether it was sort of
Yeah,
like
different
the
coaches,
fixed
and
position of her career.
that's a good point as well. But what you said earlier, I think I'd love to touch on a bit more, which was essentially if you get the position right, if you get the other things correct, the elbow kind of sorts itself out. And this is the main thing that I wanted to kind of describe or kind of explain to people here is when someone comes to me worried about the draw elbow height, it's always a case of, okay, let's just get the position of everything else correct. And then the draw elbow will be where it needs to be. And it sounds like that's kind of your approach as well.
Yeah. It's very rarely it's the elbow's fault within itself. It's normally
Yeah.
something else is causing the issue, and if we address the other issue, a lot of the time that'll fix itself.
Yeah.
But it sounds like a bit of a cop out, but it's not. It's often a cause and effect, and the solution isn't moving the elbow. The solution is finding out why that elbow has been put into that position in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. And if we kind of go back to this, if we go back to this video, I think it will be good to kind of share that again because I wanted to show from the front view first of all. Sorry for the motorbike, but the the front view here, I just wanted to show it obviously depends. One of the big things is on your face shape. So if someone's jawline requires them to essentially get more of an angle with the elbow to get a solid contact along the jaw here, then obviously the elbow is going to go a little bit higher. So for example, here you can see Park Sung Hyun's jaw just because of the shape of it and also because of her draw scapula that we'll get onto a little bit later. Her elbow is a little bit higher compared to, for example, if I bring up another video. If you're enjoying this video and want step-by-step guidance from me to improve your technique, check out my Online Archery Academy video courses. Go to onlinearcheryacademy.com, click Explore the Courses for a special discount. Now back to the video. compared to someone like Yunmi Jin, who has a lower elbow here. So you can see from the front here that her elbow is a bit lower. And if we just
significantly different, you know, that's two really good examples. You know, there's no confusing, right? The two. Yeah, it is. You've almost gone from one end of the spectrum to the other, which is really great.
And this, because of her face shape, because of particularly where her thumb locates on the jaw as well. If she can't really go much higher, like if she tried, it would really be ramming her kind of thumb and her hand into her jawline a bit too much, to be honest. So I think
that's what I often find. I often find that people feel like they have to have much more pressure on the face than they need, and they are trying to ram that thumb in there, and that is why they're getting into the position. Yeah, that's often the cause, I feel.
That's literally, that's perfect, because that's exactly what I wanted to talk about next.
Okay, all right.
And this is good. At least we're on the same page, because if we thought they were different things, I guess that'd be awkward. But no, this is exactly it. Because most people kind of hear I need to have a strong anchor. I need to, really get into my anchor point or make it really solid. And I think the biggest cause of a draw elbow being high that shouldn't be is basically just trying to ram that hand all the way back. Because if we went back to that video of Park Sung-hyun, she could actually make her elbow really high. She could actually make it much, much higher. If you have a look here, if she really tried to ram this part of her hand into the jaw, which a lot of beginner archers kind of get confused about and they try and do, then her draw elbow would be really high. So one interesting thing that I've noticed is that people who have a really high draw elbow, where it is a problem, are often the archers that struggle with a bit of target panic on the shooting line. And this might seem a little bit kind of left field, but essentially when they're coming in, they focus so much on getting a solid anchor and going upwards that they ram their hand up into their jaw and they have no movement away from the target. They normally ram in, get really high draw elbow, and then from the back you can see their elbow almost kind of collapsing afterwards like that, and they can't get through the clicker. And often it's these archers who are the ones that have a bit of target panic. They're on the shooting line and maybe it's pulling through the clicker that's difficult, or sometimes even just getting the arrows off before the time pressure. You've seen this as well, where there's archers that wait until there's 1 minute left and then shoot all their arrows or something like that.
Teammates like that for many years.
Yeah. And it's really weird to see when you don't do it yourself, but there's a number of different archers that do that, and often it's ones that have a really high draw elbow that kind of get into that problem. So I kind of just wanted to highlight that for people.
Yeah, I hadn't put those two thoughts together, but I can see your thinking for sure.
Just because of the lack of movement, right?
Yeah, and I hadn't thought of that.
It's me again here. If you don't want to join the courses just yet, but you want help from me, sign up to my free weekly newsletter by putting your email address in at onlinearcheryacademy.com and clicking join now. Or click become a member to join my online membership community, where you can get access to loads of exclusive content, plus ask questions directly for me to answer in Q&A sessions. So check that out if you want to. And now back to the video.
The area I wanted to bring up is this particular student I was talking to yesterday. It was the high elbow was a compensation for lack of bow strength, lack of draw strength.
Yeah,
fine in the lift, but lack of draw strength. So they were using just get it back, and I'll really hook it round, and I'll try and get those bones in line as much as possible to try and stop myself collapsing. And but he's put in the hard work, he's put in the bow exercise, he's got stronger and stronger, and over the last 2 months that elbow has just come down and down and down, and now it's back to an acceptable position without particularly making the elbow the focus. The focus was strength is the number one thing here, and once the strength was addressed, the elbow came back into position, and now he can. We were discussing how much pressure has he put on his face, because now we have options because he can control his bow and he's making great progress. Whereas before, the only option was just get it back and just try and hold on for dear life. And try not to collapse.
You end up kind of doing any means necessary, don't you? You kind of do whatever you can to get into position and ram up with the draw shoulder a little bit.
But now he's got the strength coming through. He's starting to realize, I do have control. How much should I be pushing on my face? How much? And everything has just improved nicely by focusing on the strength, not actually focusing on the technique.
Yeah.
They've sort of followed each other.